Fresh blood. William Barrett, CEO of Summit Industries, smiled across the mahogany boardroom table. That's what this company needs. New perspectives, young energy. I sat motionless in my chair, the quarterly report I just presented still displayed on the screen behind me. Our best quarter in company history. Revenue up 32%. Client satisfaction at record highs. All under my leadership as Director of Operations. And I was being replaced by a 26-year-old who'd never held a real job in his life. Alex has some innovative ideas, William continued, patting his son's shoulder. Harvard MBA, internships at top firms. He's exactly what Summit needs to move into the future. Alex Barrett slouched in his Italian suit, scrolling through his phone. He hadn't bothered to look up during my entire presentation. Of course, I said carefully, I'd be happy to help with the transition. William waved his hand dismissively. No need, Catherine. Alex starts Monday. We'll need you to clear out your office by end of day Friday. My name is Catherine Mitchell, and until that moment, I'd spent 12 years building Summit Industries into one of the leading technology consulting firms in Boston. I'd started as a junior analyst, worked my way up through pure merit, and transformed our operations from regional to national. Most importantly, I'd personally secured and maintained our relationship with Maxwell Technologies, the client that represented 40% of our annual revenue. But none of that mattered now, because William Barrett's son needed a job worthy of his Harvard MBA. The board's unanimous decision, William added, as if reading my thoughts, will provide 6 months severance, of course. Very generous. The other board members avoided my eyes. They'd watched me grow this company from $10 million to $100 million in annual revenue. Now they were throwing me aside for nepotism. I understand, I said, gathering my papers. I'll have everything ready for Alex by Friday. As I walked to my office, whispers followed. News would spread fast. Catherine Mitchell, the company's rising star, pushed out for the CEO's son. My phone buzzed. A message from David Turner, my deputy director. Just heard. This is insane. What are they thinking? I didn't respond immediately. Instead, I sat at my desk, looking out over the Boston skyline I'd watched change over 12 years. The corner office I'd earned through countless late nights and impossible deadlines. Another message popped up, this one from Linda Zhu at Maxwell Technologies. Quarterly review meeting next week. Need to discuss the new AI integration project. Maxwell Technologies, our biggest client. The company that had trusted me personally with their $50 million digital transformation initiative. The client that Alex Barrett, with his 0 years of actual experience, would now be responsible for managing. I smiled for the first time since the board meeting. Because what William Barrett and the board didn't know was that I'd seen this coming 3 months ago. The whispered conversations, the sudden inclusion of Alex in high-level meetings, the way William had started questioning my every decision. I'd prepared accordingly. Opening my drawer, I pulled out a sleek business card I'd received at last month's tech conference. Victoria Santos, CEO, Quantum Solutions. Quantum was our biggest competitor. They'd been trying to poach me for years, but I'd always declined out of loyalty to Summit. Victoria's latest offer had been different though, not just a director position, but full autonomy to build my own division. I kept her card, just in case. Now I pulled out my phone and dialed. Catherine. Victoria answered on the first ring. I was hoping you'd call. That position's still open. For you? Always. I heard what happened at Summit. Their loss is our gain. I looked at the family photos on my desk. Not personal memories. They were staged photos of the Barretts, which William had insisted every executive display. Time to pack those away first. When can we meet? How about dinner tonight? I have some ideas I think you'll find interesting. I agreed to meet at 7 p.m., then started methodically preparing for my departure. But this wouldn't be the typical executive exit, quietly disappearing with a severance package and non-compete agreement. No, Summit Industries was about to learn a very expensive lesson about valuing the wrong things. My phone buzzed again. Linda from Maxwell. Everything okay? Hearing strange rumors about leadership changes at Summit. Let's have coffee tomorrow, I replied. There are some things we should discuss. By evening, I'd filled 3 boxes with personal items but left all client files exactly as they were. Alex Barrett would need them, not that he'd understand half of what he was looking at. David appeared in my doorway as I was packing the last box. They're making a huge mistake, he said, closing the door behind him. The team's in shock. Nobody can believe they're replacing you with him. I gestured for him to sit. How's morale? Terrible. Sarah's already talking about leaving. Mike's updating his LinkedIn. Everyone knows if they'd push you out, none of us are safe. I nodded slowly. Keep me posted. And David? Don't do anything rash. Not yet. He understood my meaning, nodding slightly before leaving. At 7 p.m., I walked into Sorellina, one of Boston's finest Italian restaurants. Victoria Santos already had a corner table, a bottle of wine breathing beside her. Catherine, she stood to greet me, elegant in a perfectly tailored suit. Thank you for finally accepting my dinner invitation. We ordered, making small talk until the appetizers arrived. Then Victoria leaned forward, her expression turning serious. Here's what I'm thinking, she said. We create a new division at Quantum, specifically focused on enterprise digital transformation. You bring your expertise, your methodology, and, she smiled, any clients who might want to follow you. Interesting proposal, I said carefully. Though my contract has certain non-compete clauses. Victoria's smile widened. Already reviewed by our legal team. The clauses are limited to specific technologies, not general consulting services, and they can't prevent clients from choosing their preferred partners. I took a sip of wine, thinking about Maxwell Technologies' upcoming AI integration project, the one Alex Barrett wouldn't have the faintest idea how to handle. I'll need autonomy, I said. My team, my methods, of course, and a significant equity stake in the new division. When can I start? Victoria pulled out a folder containing a contract. How about Monday? I read through the documents carefully. The terms were excellent. Better salary, better benefits, and most importantly, real authority to build something new. One more thing, Victoria added as I signed. We're announcing the new division next week. Care to guess who our first major client might be? I smiled, thinking of my coffee meeting with Linda tomorrow. I might have some ideas. That night, as I drove home past Summit's offices, I thought about William Barrett's condescending smile. Fresh blood, he'd said, not realizing he was about to learn a very expensive lesson about the difference between nepotism and real leadership. My phone buzzed. A message from David. Alex just sent an email to the whole team, full of corporate buzzwords and zero substance. Called himself our new visionary leader. People are already taking bets on how long before he crashes and burns. I didn't reply. Instead, I opened my laptop and began drafting an email to Linda at Maxwell, outlining some concerns about Summit's new leadership and their ability to handle complex technical projects. By Friday, I'd clear out my office as requested. But by Monday, Summit Industries would begin discovering exactly what they'd lost and what their competitors had gained. They wanted fresh blood. They were about to get it, just not in the way they expected. The game was only beginning. Linda Zhou from Maxwell Technologies was already waiting when I arrived at Thinking Cup Coffee the next morning. She'd chosen a quiet corner table, 2 steaming lattes waiting. "Okay," she said as I sat down. "What's really going on at Summit?" Because Alex Barrett just sent me the most incomprehensible email I've ever read about synergistic value propositions and paradigm-shifting methodologies. I took a sip of coffee, choosing my words carefully. Summit is making some leadership changes. They're replacing you. It wasn't a question. With the CEO's son, who has 0 experience in enterprise technology integration. The board wants fresh perspectives. Linda's eyes narrowed. She hadn't become CTO of a Fortune 500 company by missing subtle signals. "We have a $50 million AI integration project starting next month. One that you personally designed the implementation strategy for." I nodded, pulling out a folder. "Which is why I wanted to meet. There are some concerns you should be aware of." For the next hour, we discussed the technical complexities of Maxwell's upcoming project. The custom frameworks I'd developed, the integration points that required deep understanding of their legacy systems, the potential risks if handled incorrectly. "And Alex Barrett understands all this?" Linda asked, though she clearly knew the answer. Alex Barrett needed 3 attempts to pass Harvard's basic data analytics course. She sat back, fingers drumming on the table. "Catherine, let's be direct. Maxwell Technologies can't risk our digital transformation on an inexperienced CEO's son. Where are you going next?" I smiled. "Sometimes the best moves are the ones your opponents make for you. I'm starting Monday at Quantum Solutions, building a new enterprise transformation division." "Quantum?" She raised an eyebrow. "Victoria Santos's company?" "The same. Complete autonomy, experienced team, and a focus on exactly the kind of complex integration projects Maxwell specializes in." Linda checked her watch. "I have a board meeting at 11. Send me a proposal by end of day. Include timeline, team structure, and technical specifications." Already prepared, I handed her another folder. "Just needs final numbers." She laughed. "Always 3 steps ahead. This is why we trust you with our projects, Catherine." She stood to leave, then paused. "Summit's going to regret this, aren't they?" "Tremendously." Back at Summit, I spent the morning organizing files and preparing transition documents. Not that Alex would understand them, but everything needed to be properly documented for what would come next. David stopped by around lunch, closing my office door. Half the teams already updated their resumes. Sarah got 3 calls from recruiters yesterday alone. "Anyone talking to Quantum?" He grinned. "You tell me." "Word is they're expanding their enterprise division. Need experienced consultants." I kept my expression neutral. "Interesting timing." "Very. By the way, Alex is holding his first team meeting at 2. Mandatory attendance. Want to bet how many buzzwords he fits into the first 5 minutes?" "I have more important things to do." I gestured at my packing boxes. "Like documenting 12 years of client relationships that he's about to destroy." The afternoon brought a stream of visitors to my office. Longtime colleagues stopping by to express their disbelief, share rumors, or just say goodbye. each one left with my personal email address and a knowing look. At 4:30, my phone buzzed, a message from Linda. Proposal reviewed. Board meeting went well. Need to discuss details. Dinner tonight? Before I could reply, another message popped up, this one from Victoria. Maxwell Technologies CTO just called. Well played, Catherine. Very well played. I smiled, remembering William Barrett's dismissive wave. No need for transition help, he'd said. He had no idea what was coming. At 5 p.m., Alex Barrett strutted into my office without knocking, still scrolling through his phone. So where are all the client files and stuff? He asked without looking up. Everything's documented in the shared drive, I replied. Though you might want to start with the basic methodology guides. Yeah, whatever. He cut me off. Dad says this job's pretty simple. Just gotta keep the clients happy, right? I'm thinking we'll start with some fresh ideas, shake things up a bit. I thought about Maxwell's complex AI integration project, the years of groundwork and relationship building, the technical intricacies that Alex couldn't begin to comprehend. Good luck with that. He finally looked up, frowning slightly at my tone. Hey, no hard feelings, right? Dad says sometimes we need to make room for new vision. You understand? Perfectly. I'm sure Maxwell Technologies will understand too. That got his attention. Maxwell? The big AI project client? Don't worry. I smiled. I'm sure your fresh ideas will impress them. Just remember they're investing $50 million in the integration. I'd hate for anything to go wrong. He shifted uncomfortably. Maybe you could write up some notes or something? Everything you need to know is in the documentation. Though you might want to learn what API integration framework means before your first client meeting. He left quickly after that, probably to Google API. At 7 p.m., I met Linda for dinner at Mistral. She was already reviewing the proposal I had sent, pages marked with sticky notes. Our board has some concerns about Summit's new leadership, she said as we ordered, particularly regarding the AI integration project. Understandable. They're also very interested in this new proposal, especially the technical architecture you've designed. She smiled. The one that's not covered by Summit's non-compete agreement. I took a sip of wine. Summit's agreement only covers specific implementations. This is an entirely new framework. Exactly what our legal team said. She pulled out a document. Which is why we'd like to discuss moving our business to Quantum Solutions. Effective immediately. The document was a letter of intent. Maxwell Technologies would terminate their contract with Summit Industries due to material changes in project leadership and concerns about technical capabilities. Victoria's expecting your call, I said. Linda signed the letter with a flourish. Already scheduled for 9 a.m. tomorrow. I assume you'll be there. Wouldn't miss it. Later that night, as I packed the last items from my Summit office, my phone lit up with messages. David, Alex just tried to explain machine learning to the dev team. It was painful. Pretty sure he thinks AI means awesome ideas. Sarah, Quantum Solutions posted 6 new positions. Enterprise integration experience required. Coincidence? Victoria, meeting with Maxwell confirmed for 9 a.m. Bring your technical specs. And Catherine? The board wants to discuss fast-tracking your division's launch. I looked around my empty office one last time. 12 years of memories, achievements, relationships. All sacrificed for William Barrett's nepotism. Monday morning would be interesting. Very interesting indeed. My phone buzzed one final time. Linda again. Just sent the termination notice to Summit's board. cited leadership concerns and technical capability gaps. Copy to all board members. Want to bet how long before they realize what's really happening? I smiled, turning off the lights in my office for the last time. They wanted fresh blood. I typed back. They're about to get it. Because sometimes the best revenge isn't about getting even. It's about showing exactly what was lost. And what happens when you value the wrong things. Summit Industries was about to learn that lesson the hard way. Monday morning at Quantum Solutions felt like stepping into another world. My new office, larger than the one at Summit, overlooked Boston Harbor. The morning sun glinted off the water, a fresh start. Victoria had already arrived, carrying 2 cups of premium coffee. Ready to shake up the industry? Before I could answer, my phone buzzed. A message from David. Total chaos here. Board called emergency meeting after Maxwell's termination letter. William Barrett, looks like he's about to explode. Another message followed quickly. Alex tried calling Maxwell's tech team. They hung up when he couldn't explain basic integration protocols. His dad's office door is locked, and everyone can hear yelling. I smiled, setting my phone aside. More than ready. The 9 a.m. meeting with Maxwell Technologies took place in Quantum's largest conference room. Linda brought her entire technical team, plus their legal department. Victoria sat beside me, watching as I walked through our implementation strategy. Timeline remains the same, I explained, pulling out detailed project plans. But with Quantum's enhanced infrastructure and my new team's expertise, we can actually accelerate certain integration phases. Linda's team nodded approvingly. They'd worked with me for years, trusted my technical judgment. More importantly, they understood exactly why we were all sitting in Quantum's offices instead of Summit's. One concern, Linda said, though her smile suggested it wasn't really a concern at all. Summit's legal team is claiming some of this technical architecture belongs to them. Victoria slid forward a document prepared by Quantum's lawyers. We've reviewed every line of code, every framework component. Everything Catherine's proposing was either developed independently or falls outside Summit's intellectual property claims. Besides, I added, pulling up a specific section of code, this is a completely new integration framework. Designed last weekend, actually. Linda laughed, while Alex Barrett was probably Googling what API means. Exactly. By 10:30, the contracts were signed. Maxwell Technologies was officially transferring their $50 million project and all future work to Quantum Solutions. As if on cue, my phone lit up with a call from Summit Industries, William Barrett himself. I let it go to voicemail. Speaking of Summit, Victoria said as our visitors left, ready for the next phase? I nodded, pulling up another presentation. This one detailed my plans for Quantum's new Enterprise Solutions division, including the team I planned to build. How many Summit employees are we expecting? Victoria asked. By end of week, I checked my messages. At least 15. All top performers. Perfect. HR's ready with offer letters. The rest of Monday passed in a blur of meetings, planning sessions, and a steady stream of messages from Summit. William Barrett. Voicemail. Catherine, we need to discuss this Maxwell situation immediately. Call me back. Alex Barrett. Email. Hey, so like there might be some confusion about the Maxwell project stuff. Can you maybe explain some things? Dad's pretty upset. Summit Board Chairman. Email. Ms. Mitchell, the board would like to schedule an urgent meeting regarding recent developments. Please advise your availability. I responded to none of them. Instead, I focused on building something new. My team at Quantum was taking shape quickly. Sarah arrived Tuesday morning to head our technical integration unit. Mike joined Wednesday as lead architect. By Thursday, most of Summit's top performers had submitted their resignations. It's a mass exodus, David reported during our lunch meeting. HR can't process exit paperwork fast enough. Alex is walking around like a lost puppy, trying to understand the technical documentation you left. How's William taking it? Hasn't left his office in 2 days. Board members keep showing up for closed-door meetings. Stocks down 15% since Maxwell's announcement. I nodded, sliding an offer letter across the table. Ready to join us? He grinned, already pulling out a pen. Been ready since they announced Alex's promotion. Friday morning brought the news I'd been waiting for. Summit Industries had called an emergency shareholder meeting. Reason: discussion of recent material changes in client relationships and personnel matters. Victoria appeared in my office doorway, waving her phone. Seeing the news? Just did. Their stock's down 23% now. Analysts are questioning the company's stability after losing Maxwell. Rumors about leadership problems. I smiled, remembering William's dismissive wave. Fresh blood has consequences. Around noon, Linda sent me a screenshot of an email from Alex Barrett, desperately trying to salvage Maxwell's business. It was filled with corporate buzzwords and demonstrated a complete lack of technical understanding. Please tell me you have a better proposal ready, she wrote. I did. My team had spent the week refining our implementation strategy, incorporating innovations that Summit hadn't even considered. We presented Monday. At 2 p.m., Summit's board chairman called again. This time, I answered. Catherine, he sounded tired. I hope you can appreciate the difficult position we're in. I appreciate that actions have consequences, Charles. The board, we may have acted hastily. If you're open to discussing a return, I'm not. A long pause. Catherine, be reasonable. The company's losing millions in value. Alex clearly isn't ready for this role. William knows he made a mistake. No, I cut him off. William knows he's about to lose his job. The board knows they backed the wrong horse. And you all know that Maxwell isn't the only client who trusts me personally with their technical strategy. Another pause. How many more? Guess you'll find out soon enough. By end of day, the news was official. William Barrett had stepped down as CEO of Summit Industries, effective immediately. Alex's appointment was under review, but it was too late. Monday morning, I stood before Quantum's board, presenting our division's first-month projections. The numbers were staggering. Maxwell Technologies is just the beginning, I explained. 3 more major Summit clients have already reached out about transferring their business. Combined annual revenue, approximately $120 million. Victoria beamed. The board members nodded approvingly. Moreover, I continued, we've acquired top talent from Summit's technical teams, people who understand these client relationships, who've built trust over years. My phone buzzed. Another message from Summit's board chairman. Final offer. Name your price, please. I ignored it, focusing on my presentation. By end of quarter, we project our division's revenue will exceed Summit's total annual earnings. That evening, I walked along the harbor, reflecting on how much had changed in just 2 weeks. My new office at Quantum was fully settled. My team was thriving, energized by the opportunity to build something new. Our client pipeline was overflowing. My phone buzzed one last time. A news alert. Summit Industries announces restructuring amid client exodus, stock down 40% year to date. Below that was a LinkedIn update from Alex Barrett. Excited to announce I'm returning to graduate school to deepen my technical knowledge. I smiled, remembering William's words, fresh blood. That's what this company needs. He'd been right about one thing. Summit did need fresh blood. They just didn't realize it would be flowing to their competitors. 1 year later, I stood in Quantum's largest conference room, addressing our now 200-person Enterprise Solutions division. On the screen behind me, a simple graph told the story. Quantum Solutions. Revenue up 180% year-over-year. Summit Industries. Filing for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection. Success, I told my team, isn't about titles or family connections. It's about value. Real value. The kind you can't fake with buzzwords or MBA degrees. I looked out at the faces, many former Summit employees who'd followed me to build something better. People who'd been overlooked, undervalued, or pushed aside for someone's son. They thought replacing me with an inexperienced heir was good business. I continued. They didn't realize that real leadership isn't inherited, it's earned. Victoria joined me at the podium to make a special announcement. Our division was being spun off as its own company. I would be CEO. As applause filled the room, I thought about William Barrett's condescending smile, about Alex's clueless arrogance, about a board that valued nepotism over merit. They'd wanted fresh blood. They got it. And the business world had learned a valuable lesson about the true cost of choosing the wrong leader. Because sometimes the best revenge isn't about getting even. It's about rising higher than your opponents ever dreamed possible. And we were still rising. They got it. And the business world had learned a valuable lesson about the true cost of choosing the wrong leader. Because sometimes the best revenge isn't about getting even. It's about rising higher than your opponents ever dreamed possible. And we were still rising.